Listen to part of a talk in a drama class.
Good morning, class. Today we're going to discuss the rise of what is popularly known as method acting, and we're going to go into a lot of detail.
Method acting? Like the kind that really big actors like Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman use?
Yes, that's one manifestation of method acting, but its history extends far beyond the film and stage actors of the past few decades. In fact, we have to go all the way back to 19th century Russia in order to trace the roots of method acting. It all begins with the famous Russian thespian, Konstantin Stanislavski. In the 1890s, Stanislavski began developing an alternative method to the common style of stage acting. He felt that the acting he often witnessed in the Moscow theater was too shallow. The actors were more concerned with mimicking physical gestures, copying speech affectations, and relying too much on specific instructions from the director. In other words, the actors were representing all the external traits of their characters, but they were lacking the genuine thoughts and feelings that such characters should have. Stanislavski believed that capturing this genuine emotion was the main goal of acting, so he developed his own distinct set of techniques for doing just that. See, Stanislavski basically tried to turn acting into a science with an emphasis on experimentation. He insisted that the first thing an actor must do is view his character as real, and not as a role in a play. In fact, the actor should be so immersed that he forgets that the audience is there. One technique that helps is emotional memory. The actor uses this to recall his thoughts and feelings in situations similar to those of his character. Instead of creating a mere performance, the actor creates a deep and complex character for himself and responds to his environment as if he were the character. Anyway, one of Stanislavski's most triumphant moments with this new method was his historic production of The Seagull in 1898. This play essentially introduced his new style of acting to the world of theater, and Stanislavski acquired many talents and influential followers. One particularly remarkable student was Michael Chekhov, whom Stanislavski regarded as his most brilliant pupil. Even though Chekhov was the most astute observer of the method, he tended to put his own spin on it and rejected some of Stanislavski's rules. Chekhov developed techniques that required actors to be more imaginative and physically active than they would be with Stanislavski's method. Unfortunately, Chekhov fled from Soviet authorities and ended up working and teaching in Europe throughout the 1920s and 1930s, even setting up his own theater school in London in 1936. But his bad luck continued when World War II broke out and forced the school to dissolve after just a few years. He finally settled in Hollywood, primarily serving as an acting coach before passing away in 1955.
Well, that's a shame. From what I understand, method acting had already been well established by Lee Strasberg.
That's true, but it is also a little misleading. Chekhov's teachings had a tremendous impact on many famous actors. Some studied with him directly, like Clint Eastwood, Ingrid Bergman, and Gary Cooper. Others learned from his writings, such as Anthony Hopkins and Johnny Depp. While not famous in his lifetime, Chekhov's overall impact is second to none. You do bring me to my next focus, though, which is the enormous influence of Lee Strasberg. For those of you who are unfamiliar with him, he was a legendary American stage actor who played the biggest role in making method acting popular in the United States. Upon joining the Actors Studio in New York in 1948, Strasberg became one of the most renowned teachers of method acting. His students include screen legends such as Marlon Brando, James Dean, Paul Newman, Jane Fonda. I mean, really, I could list off names all day. You get the picture. This approach would be the most dominant acting style for the next 2 decades, and it forever transformed film and stage acting. Another important teacher I want to mention is Uta Hagen. In fact, her book, Respect for Acting, is on your syllabus. This book was published in the 1970s, when method acting was perhaps at its strongest, and I think it's good for beginning actors. It really breaks down the method into the most basic fundamentals and makes the whole process easy to understand.